All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Miami Marlins franchise here in Season 3. Gotta say, the team is looking pretty good right now. We're 30-34. That's really the best record we've sported in this series, especially a couple months into the season. But I like where the team is headed. I think we're on the right track. Will this actually be a Year 3 playoff team? I still highly doubt it. But it's really fun to see us be so much more competitive, especially on the offensive side. That was a big focus going into this year after being one of the worst offensive teams in all of Season 2, including being the worst home run hitting team in the league. That's where this team has taken such a huge leap this year, where we're number 4 in scoring. And it's not really because of home runs, like that's part of it. We're now more middle of the pack, still a little below average. But there's just good hitting talent now on this team. Hank Holder has made his debut, and he's playing like a potential Rookie of the Year winner. Then we have the trade acquisition last episode of Evan Carter. Really excited to see how he can boost this offense long term. I think that he offers a big upgrade over Jesus Sanchez on the base paths, with the bat, and in the field. The team's hot right now. I'm trying my best to enjoy it as long as it lasts, as we are only 2.5 games out of first place, and also 34 days until the MLB draft. We're wrapping up the scouting season here shortly. I feel really good about our team going into the draft and beyond towards the trade deadline and everything. But let's get back to the grind then. We are in a series against the Cincinnati Reds, a team that's 39-26. We took the number 1 player last year. They took the number 2. And we take this series from them. And that gives us a really impressive streak. We've now won our last 5 series this year. And looks like Jack Leiter gave us a better outing, not a deep one, but the bullpen cleans up a bunch of scoreless innings once he departs. And then Esteury Ruiz hits a homer. He's now hitting .320. So you just have so many players in great form right now. The 18-year-old Hank Holder, Esteury Ruiz is hitting over .300. It's just so fun with this team right now. Okay, we got a little showdown here this week. We have Paul Skeens and Yuri Perez. There we go. I was hoping we'd get something here mid-game. Scoreless into the 4th. No one's too surprised. These two pitchers are dominating. And we got Graham Pauley up. So going to our bench today, and we have 2 aboard here in the 4th, trying to get something off Skeens. You don't get too many of these opportunities, so when they come around, you better cash in. And that triple digit here, first pitches I'm seeing all day, yeah, that's not the easiest thing to start off against. Someone get me Kyle Hendricks or something quick. On the ground and bounce to second. There is 1, and Pauley doubled up. Skeens gets us, not on the fastball, but a good curve. That's all they're giving me in this game. Paul Skeens, they're congratulating him. Looks like a dominant day, 4-0, and we only had 4 hits. 3 of those going to Javier Sanoja. So Paul Skeens, 8 innings, 8 strikeouts. Tough game for the Fish. That means our series winning streak is now on the line. Agustin Ramirez hitting .208, just a .587 OPS this season. 2 aboard here. We're facing Jared Jones, and now a double-digit scoreless inning streak for the Marlins. Fastball on the inside edge, and down goes Ramirez. Offense struggling here against some good arms. Let's hope they give us some more situations. Yeah, Ryan Weathers is somebody I wanted to talk about today. He's the highest paid player on the team. I've said this on numerous occasions now. But he ain't playing like it. Elevated walk rate this year and a ballooning home run rate against. I'm not sure where that leaves us with 1 more year of team control at least $12 million. There is a chance, I mean, I guess there's a chance for a lot of things, but there's a chance he just doesn't even come back and I don't even try to sign him in the offseason. If this were to keep up anyway. Taken outside by Brian Hayes. It's a long year, though. This could still end up fixing itself over the course of the year, but maybe not here against Pittsburgh. I thought he might have been a little bit faster. That's on me. Took a bad angle. A couple of runs will score. And it is 2-0 Pittsburgh. We got to see him turn things around, though. 1 year of team control remaining. I mean, we could be looking at a potential trade. Now, I don't know what his trade value would truly be. I'd still think like, wow, that's a great pitch. Maybe we improve the trade value right there. But I don't think we would get much more than a high C, low B prospect. Pittsburgh is celebrating again. That is another win for them. Back-to-back shutouts. 4 hit by Skeens, and now we're 1 hit by Jared Jones. So we dropped that series, scoring a grand total of 1 run. Now we go back to face the Yankees, and I've really liked what I've seen so far out of Robbie Snelling. Just called him up, gave us a really strong showing in his first outing, and he's yet to really have that, that real stinker start, that starters always have, especially when they're young. But hoping to get through the 5th here. Got Giancarlo Stanton, the former Marlin. He's out in front. And we're going to see if he can be disciplined here against the off-speed. Down 0-2. Snelling, the 2-2. Got him! Swinging. Down and in the strike zone. He'll make it through the 5th again. Come on, give us some offense here. I want a hit. All right, these stats are the direct inverse of what we were seeing just last episode. But that's the way it goes. The ebbs and flows of the baseball season. Xavier Edwards, by the way, he is really putting in a strong year, and I'm thinking we're getting close to maybe a contract extension with him. His overall isn't high, so it wouldn't be one of the most expensive deals. His defense is just nothing special, and that weighs down the overall a ton for guys like him, Luis Arraez. But his slugging is on the rise this year, over 500. He's already at a career high, 5 home runs. I'm not even looking for power out of him, but if that's going up, I think we're going to want him to stick around. It's a skill set that's always nice to have. Full count from Rodon. It's outside, and we'll have first and second. And that's going to bring up the one and only rookie, Hank Holder. 10 stolen bases, double-digit homers as well. And an RBI chance against the lefty, and he's loved facing those lefties this year. That's a ball. Hitting .356 against the Southpaws. Just a little bit off on that one. Man, we were early and everything. 1 and 2. No! Jock Peterson leads the team with 13 homers here in Season 3. And facing Rodon, trying to come through once again. He's been so good with runners in scoring position, hitting .320. Oh, man. I can't handle his curve, apparently. Nearly hitting Otto Lopez. He's our last chance here in the 5th. Into left, it'll loop in. Ruiz rounds third. He will score, and Otto does it again. He's been maybe the secret superstar of this team, hitting near 300. Excellent in the middle of this order. And always seems to come through when runners are awaiting a big hit. See you later, Rodon. Marlins snap the losing streak. They score a win here against the Yankees. 3-1. Another good outing, too, for Robbie Snelling. And we're going to win this series with the pitching doing a pretty good job lately, even in this sweep. I mean, you give up 3 or 4 runs, that should be a win if the offense shows up. And here we got Jack Leiter, 6 innings, 1 run, maybe his best outing so far since that trade. The Blue Jays now say, pick up the phone, we have a trade to offer. They want Jonah Bride, the latest team to inquire about first baseman Jonah Bride. They're offering Davis Schneider. And despite some intriguing ratings, I'm happy with our current outfield depth. He's having a good year, though. Back we go to scouting, and Michael Cruz is going to end up 107 on the board. Looking more like a mid-C potential player at best, so a little less interested there. Meanwhile, the board shows Wesley Finnegan is our #1 ranked player. Ray Huerta, Chang Ho Kwan, Sidney Warner at 4. We've seen a lot of movement here, just scouting these right fielders and starting pitchers. The top 10 has completely changed. You know, I feel really good about 4, but where some of these guys are ranked and just the sheer amount of players here, I'm really hoping somebody slips through the cracks that maybe shouldn't be there at 39, and we can scoop up a couple impact players this year. A big jump as well for Edgar Batista. Went from like 97 to 50 on the board. Now, the projections don't look great. I still think that's because they're factoring in potentially, 36 overall, which probably won't be the case. So maybe with 39 or 43, he could be an option. And I think we have all the pitching information we could really need for this year. We have first round options and a couple players that were discovered that could be around a little later. So we can find some more options the last few weeks. Right field, I just have like 5% to clean up on a few players. I'm going to sit back and let that do its thing. I'll get maybe like 1 week in here of Eastern relief pitcher scouting. Just a lot of options over there. And then I'm going to target players that I think will be there with our second and third picks to give us as many options to hopefully come away with a couple high potential, high upside difference makers. Going for a sweep now of the Yankees. That doesn't end up happening. And then we promptly go on a 4-game losing streak. A little bit rougher stretch here now, falling to 33 and 41. I think that hot streak has disappeared. Wow, Jack Leiter, 7 innings this time around and only 1 earned run. So a couple good outings for him. Offense drying up, but the pitching doing great. Not sure how to feel about that. We only win once the entire week. And we'll get Andres Murillo here, 71 to 86 potential, high C, low B possibilities. 19 years old, plays first, third, and right. Primarily skilled with contact. Nothing really stands out in a major way. And one player I'm going to scout probably every year until I actually draft that player is the best closer available. This year, that looks to be Jake Gallagher, projected to go around 50, making him a perfect candidate for either that 39th or 43rd pick. We're now 35 and 43, 5.5 back of the Mets and Nationals, who are going back and forth for first place in the East. How about this day for Hank Holder? 3 for 4. He has the homer, the triple, and the single. He needs one last piece of the puzzle. Can the rookie hit for the cycle? Just got to find one in the gap or down the line here against Jesus Tinoco. So we kind of come full circle here. Tinoco pitched with us, was our only All-Star in Season 2. And then he was traded to the Mariners amidst his best ever season. And this year, he has significantly regressed. That's the relief pitcher experience, though. They can be elite one year and hardly rosterable the next. And there's no warning. But Holder now 3-0. We're up 9-0. I am not taking a walk here 3-0. Ah, man. I don't know why I let that go. What's the best thing that can happen? It becomes 3-2. Literally just drew a walk. We'll take it, though. Robbie Snelling, 6 scoreless innings. And Hank Holder has another excellent performance. He's got to win that Rookie of the Year this season. The Twins are offering a trade. Could it be the third time? The third time? No, they want Anthony Bender, actually. Bender is a 32-year-old reliever. Somebody we probably should think about trading. He's not even having a great overall season, but he might be able to help out the Twins, who are offering Junior Severino, who has deep potential down at AAA. Not too interested there in that deal. Facing off with the Marlins now, trying to take a series. We are down 2, but Otto Lopez is at the plate. 0 for 3 on the day. This is just what he needs. 2 runners on. Oh, Andres Munoz in the 7th inning. It's taken a second to process that. I almost got caught there. Down low, 3-1. Count runs full, and it's lined into right field, and Lopez does it again with Holder scoring. 99 speed. If it's 95, he might get a piece of the ankle there. We've seen that happen before. Otto Lopez, RBI. We're down 1. Nice job, Hank. They bring in the lefty now to face Evan Carter. That's skied way up there, and will be out number 2. Man, the average just craters every time I have an at-bat with him. What is going on, Agustin Ramirez? What is the current streak? 2 on, 2 down. Seriously, he's got to be in like an 0 for 30 right now. It's not 0 for 30, but it's 2 for 36. Might have to give him a few off days just to reset. And this ain't helping down 2 strikes. 94. I'm expecting anything else besides a fastball there. Yeah, I want to finish this one out, though. Let's get a few innings in. We have a pitching change. How about that? We'll bring in the lefty, Andrew Nardi. Nardi having a decent year, especially against lefties. A full count to the leadoff man, Will Benson. Benson having a great year, hitting .320, but Nardi punches him out with the fastball. Going 10 pitches into this at-bat, and the comebacker, Nardi, retires Clement. And a strikeout finishes things here. We still trail by 1. Alec Thomas now in the 8th inning. His average down to .270, and that's going to turn foul. But still maintaining good overall numbers. He's had a couple really good hot streaks this year. 77 plate vision, 65 contacts. So we're hoping to see him maintain an above average throughout the year. On the ground and up the middle. Base hit. And Jonah Bride. The calls keep coming in for him. Let's see if we can add on some value here. And we'll see where the record is going into the trade deadline. You know, I was never going to be a buyer this year. But, you know, I would have considered if we were actually playing really good for a while, like not really trading away many players. Bride, right center. Get going, Thomas. You're scoring. And Bride sends it out. That's gone. Home run. Number 10 for Jonah Bride. The Fish take the lead. And I'm expecting to get a couple more calls here shortly. No, shut that off. Oh, we put the bunt down. Estieri Ruiz is safe at first. Every now and then you got to put one of those down. New pitcher. As we go top of the order, Xavier Edwards, Jesus Tinoco. We meet again. Ruiz safe at second base. In the air, floated to right. Man, I kind of want to run on that, but I'm not. Not when I have this guy ready to hit and potentially drive home the insurance run. Down 2 strikes.
Nope.
Just inside.
We got a full count.
Line drive to short. Holder retired. Yeah, they keep walking Jock Peterson. And I like having Lopez behind him. I do think Lopez is this year's like ideal 5-hitter. 2 on, 2 out. I don't think that's going to make it. That's my bad. But could we look to trade a guy like Anthony Bender at some point this season? Very possible. Especially when I have some relievers actually coming up that need a space opened up to get some innings. Bride. Hopefully the Twins don't see that one. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. now. He's a Mariner now, remember. They signed him to a pretty big deal. Got him out of the zone on a sinker. Big punch out. I didn't think that would work. Falling behind, catcher Cal Raleigh. Might be better off facing Luke Raley. And that'll be our next sequence here. Bender losing some of his touch in that at-bat. Raley! He hits it. Raley 4. But Carter! Oh no! It's gone! Luke Raley, 3-run shot. Maybe I didn't want to face him. I didn't realize he had 17 homers already. And the Mariners jump ahead again, 2 runs up. Man, I don't know what happened here. He was so sharp the first 2 hitters. Like, you can't trust relievers one year to the next. You can't even trust them one batter to the next. I don't get it. And we'll go to the 9th inning. Marlins need 2. Felt really good in the top half of the 8th. But now we'll face Gregory Santos. 11 for 11 on saves this year. He's perfect. 5, 6, 7 hitters here for the Marlins. Beginning with Evan Carter into the corner. We're going to open it with speed on second base. And now with Augustin Ramirez, man, do you trust him here? The way this season has gone? 178. What are my bench options? I got to let him try to get out of this, right? 0 for 4 on the day. All right. I can't catch up to that slider up and in, so adding on to his struggles. And 98 up and in. Santos picks up strikeouts. So now it's on Bride. Hit a homer back in the 8th inning. A 2-run shot. And we're looking for the replay in the 9th.
That's a ball.
Oh, he's also a triple shy of the cycle. On the ground and hit right to short. The game is over. And the Marlins lose a winnable game. Gonna be hard to keep up our momentum if we're not winning games like this. 3 runs in the 8th hurt us. And we dropped that series to the Mariners. 4 straight losses now. And we're close to wrapping up our scouting for the year. I think we might get to the draft here before too long. Jake Gallagher is going to be 78 to 83 potential. That's really solid. I've seen better, closers in the draft classes in the series, but a lot to like. He throws a fastball, curve, 2-seamer. I don't love the pitch mix, admittingly, but on paper, he's good. Then we have some more options here with Christian Kennedy having 79 to 89 potential. Might be a lower overall starting point for him at 21 years old too. Then there's Andres Rosario, who is falling down the board. But yeah, 66 to 90 potential. I would probably need some more to realistically take him there with our third pick. Now, Gallagher's scouting did drop him all the way to closer number 4, so there might be better options. Looking at our lineup, the hot streaks are almost all gone at this point. Hank Holder now seeing more +2s and the +8 to contact against lefties. Augustin Ramirez, though, I think we might take him out of the lineup just for a few days, give Cole Carrig some starts. I see Carrig is in his own little cold streak here. He must have gotten some more play time. Yeah, he's gotten some starts here in June, but the hitting hasn't really been great. So this is just a little temporary thing. And this is looking like a really rough month for us. Another lost series. We'll play the Rockies now. And man, I hope we could beat them in a series. We're even losing a series here to the Rockies. Casey Mize is now in Colorado and just out-dueled Yuri Perez. So I know our offensive numbers are going to be slipping considerably here this month. And sure, I'd love to see us avoid a sweep to the Rockies, and we can't do that. We lose all 3 in our 7th consecutive game. So as good as things felt last episode, you know, that's a distant memory at this point. We have now returned to the bottom of the NL East, sporting a 2-8 record over our last 10 games. Our offensive production has sunk. We've gone from the 4th highest scoring offense and are now the 10th. Oh, there's a big trade, kind of. Orion Kerkering to the Rangers. 86 overall reliever. The White Sox want to trade with us. Now they want Jonah Bride. They're offering Nelson Velasquez. I've looked into acquiring him before, but I'm happy with the state of the outfield right now. Marlins score a couple wins here against St. Louis. This will be a series win. Robbie Snelling, 2.36 ERA. Really impressed with the kind of stretch he's had. 45 really good innings. He's only given up 3 home runs in that time, and the strikeouts are actually showing up. You know, 67 K per 9. Would that be enough? So far, it has been. And then also in a hot streak is Jack Leiter. I think primarily because of this 3-game stretch here. But he's holding it down for the time being while we have other guys getting ready to come up. Not sure Yuri Perez is really in line for Cy Young candidacy this year, and I see the home run per 9 falling off there. Seems kind of aggressive for 12 and 100 innings. But we could be seeing another pitcher called up here shortly, where Noble Meyer's playing well down at AAA, and even Bobby Miller. Now, he's not going to be returning, you know, next or anything, but he passed waivers. He's playing well down there. Let's leave it at that. And I talked earlier about if we trade some relievers, we have some guys coming up. So I acquired Troy Gates in the Jesus Tinoco trade last year, and I think we could call him up whenever we really need to. If somebody's hurt, if we trade somebody, he is the next man up. He's still a low-leverage guy, I think, with a low pitching clutch, but I think he projects to be a pretty good long relief pitcher overall. And this season, he's been really tough, and he struck out 64 in 57 innings. A player I drafted who's getting close is lefty Kenny Norris. His innings aren't nearly as high. His trajectory is really strong. One more scouting session. Here is closer Brian Ariano. 22 years old, 90 to 95 potential. And a pretty good overall starting point, 61 to 66. Very interested in him. Andres Rosario is going to end up 84th on the board. Not sure I see us taking him. And then Miguel Gutierrez with big power against lefties. And that's really the focus of his skill set. I think I'll let that stay for the last week and find 2 more players. Johnny Grieve has broken his leg. And I was looking to do a player lock game with him maybe before we get to the draft. I don't think that's going to be happening now. An injury setback for Johnny will now push back his potential debut and maybe make that more September of this year. I do still see him getting called up. We've seen power get a boost a little here, but I'm mostly excited about the contact, vision, discipline, clutch combo. Maybe the power develops with time, maybe it doesn't. This year at AAA, he's hit 278. He's on base a lot. I think it's going to be a while before the slugging percentage is anything exciting. I wanted to get a game in with him today. Not going to happen now, but Johnny's still on a pretty good path. Just got to heal that leg up now. Yay, a series against the Dodgers. This is what we need. Not too surprising, we get swept here against the Dodgers. Put up some runs in the final game. Evan Carter went yard, but Valente Biozzo is just not getting it done. We're going to have to make some changes in the second half, I think. And we are about ready to draft. So I can't get a game in here with Johnny Grieve, the first draft pick of the series. So I'm doing a player lock game with Hank Holder in Colorado against lefty Kyle Freeland. Let's try to go into the draft here with some excitement. We're 38-55. We were like 4 games under 500 or something when we began the episode, and we've barely won any games since. First inning trouble for Robbie Snelling. 2 on, and already 1 run scored. We're going to go 2 here. Get that out. Snelling gives up a sac fly and a 2-run homer. Yeah. Young pitchers in Colorado learn why you don't want to be pitching here. Top of the 5th, a 4-1 Rockies lead. That's lined straight to second base. We already got swept once by the Rockies today. Come on, guys. Holder's going to reach. This is a single in the 8th. We're taking off here. Grounded through. Let's continue on to third. Base hit, Jock Peterson. RBI chance, Otto Lopez. Hard to imagine him not getting Holder home. Lopez grounds it. Holder will score. And they threw it into right field. They got nobody. Come on, guys. We can come back. The Rockies are not beating us 4 times in a row. I will not allow it. There we go. A double from the Great Dane ties it. A walk, an error. That's what I'm talking about. We're hitting twice in the 8th inning. Drifting out, we work the count back in our favor. And Holder draws the walk. Loaded up, and we go to Otto Lopez. And a strikeout. Leaves the bases filled. But hopefully that was enough. We score 6 in the 8th inning. And let's see if we can add any more here in the 9th. It's an Evan Carter base hit to start things. There he goes. Outside. Carter swipes second base. How is that only his 3rd stolen base? He has 97 speed. That gets by the catcher. Carter all the way to 3rd. Line drive right center. There's the 9th run. And Myers now on his way to 2nd, and he will hold there. An RBI double. Up the middle. That'll advance the runner and leave the inning up to former Rockies draft pick and Rule 5 pickup for the Marlins, Cole Carrig. He has an RBI hit already. Can he get us number 10? That's a base hit into left field. Cole Carrig does it again to the team that drafted him. And the Marlins have 10 runs across. Really good year for Dylan Coleman. He's even better than he was a year ago. 4-run lead for the Marlins. High drive left center. Good thing we got some speed here. Ruiz needs all of it to track that down. Coleman ahead of Ezekiel Tovar. Come on. Perfect pitch on the edge. And now the count goes full. Coleman catches the corner this time. An even better strike three pitch. 1 out to go. And that's sent out to Thomas and Wright. A lot of carry here in Coors, but that's a win for the Fish. And we'll score a win going into the MLB draft, where we are looking to add even more talent to what we're building. I like the foundation. Let's add to it. The 2027 first-year player draft is here. We pick at 4, 39, and 43. And I like the possibilities we have at 4. Still really like Jorge Vizcaino, even if he's 6th on our board. I just think there's an incredible ceiling here with a very high floor at the same time. This class is really strong at starting pitcher and specifically right field. We have Chang-Ho Kwon, who's number 3 on the board. We can go to the outfield for a guy like Sidney Warner or Huey Costa. Vizcaino does stand out, though, with the floor, the ceiling, already being 21. I think he'd be maybe a guy that spends a year in the minor leagues. I'm really interested to see if we go pitcher early, who ends up being there at our next 2 picks. And if nobody really slides, like I don't realistically think Odell Williams is there. But I think we have options that are more likely to be available. And I'm ready for this draft. Let's get into it. We picked number 1 last year, and we made the most out of it selecting Hank Holder. It really changed this series, getting a talent of that caliber. We're going to open the draft this year. The Chicago White Sox at number 1 select Alexis Hidalgo. He was 7th on our board, one of our top starting pitchers. At 21 years old, he probably doesn't need too long to ultimately make his debut. At number 2, we have the Colorado Rockies selecting Cy Pierce. Our scouting dropped him down to 32nd on our board, so we would call this a reach for still a pretty good pitcher. And then at 3, the last pick before us, it is Brian Yamada. I still want to say he was drafted last year, went unsigned, and then got drafted again. He ended up 38th on our board. So really, there was only one player taken who I was considering at 4. If we were to stay true to the board, that player is Wesley Finnegan. I do look a lot at these pitchers and where their strengths and weaknesses are. When you have both walk per 9, home run per 9 low, that does concern me. Finnegan only has a 3-pitch mix. Now, when we first got the season underway, Ray Huerta looked like the most likely number 1 pick. And he has a really strong arm, he's fast, has good power at a position where you don't always see a lot of power, second base, and he's a switch hitter. I really like where his game is, but this to me has felt like a year to go pitcher early. And I'm going to stick to what I have been thinking this whole time. I like this 5-pitch mix on Jorge Vizcaino. And I think this potential range should be going even higher than 4. He is going to be our first pick this year. I've wanted to get more high upside pitching in the organization. The trade with Edward Cabrera and Jesus Sanchez landed us a really good prospect last episode. And now today we get Jorge Vizcaino. But again, who makes it to 39? We want to have a great overall draft package this year, so the more names that I don't know, the better. Like Alan Donaldson going 5. A few targets are gone. I think Ray Huerta going at 13 here is a steal for the Diamondbacks. And they already have maybe the best second baseman in baseball in Ketel Marte. So what a pick for them. Sidney Warner is gone. Marcus Rushing, Dante Hahn, Todd Schmidt, Chang Ho Kwan then goes at 15. So I think the dream is that a guy like Odell Williams slips. Still don't see it happening. If we talk about these prospects in terms of tiers, I'd say there's a tier right here with Finnegan, Costa, and Williams, and then there's a drop. Still good players for the 30s and 40s after that, but this is the tier where I really hope we can get a second player. All right, we got our division rivals here going back to back. We got the Phillies at 23. They land Wesley Finnegan. They take the number 1 player on our entire draft board. And the Atlanta Braves will go Odell Williams. So we're going to see these guys after all, just not the way I wanted to. Just take Costa next, Baltimore. Nope. The Tigers actually were awarded a prospect promotion incentive pick this year, and they'll use that to take pitcher Babe Stew. Competitive balance round A now. We are closing in. Miguel Gutierrez goes. He was 25th on our board. Another higher upside outfielder is gone. We've had a run on outfielders here lately, so I don't know how I feel right now. One team stands between us and Huey Costa, and the Athletics of no city in particular take Jay Pereira. So here we are, Costa 5th on our board, a big-time riser. 82 to 97 potential. I've been looking for more outfield talent. This pick really makes itself. And Costa's going to be our second pick of the day. And now a very short wait for our next pick. There's still another outfielder there, an Edgar Batista, if I want to double up. Or Ray Molina is here, unranked, 39th on our boards. So this is where the few discovery players I have on the board come into play. And then we have Aaron Jackson at third base. Really intrigued. I just like that there's high contact, vision, fielding, strong arm. Wish he could play even more positions. But we're on the clock now, 4 minutes to make our pick. And the next one won't come until number 80. I'm going to wait on the closers. They're more so ranked in that 80 range. I think with Batista, we wait even longer. We have some lower overall, high upside outfielders already in the organization. I don't think that's the best use of this pick right here. Ray Molina, 73 to 88 potential. If we want to double up on pitcher, not a bad option. Not much of a strikeout guy right now. Aaron Jackson here. Talked about how intrigued I was with him. The ceiling doesn't seem super high. And then we get to Barton Scott. So Scott is a high contact, high vision. The ceiling isn't super high, but he could be a high average, high on base type of player. You know what? I think here I'm going to go a little bit off the board in a way, not taking some higher ranked players. I'm hoping they stick around longer. They were discovery players, but I'm intrigued with the ceiling of Aaron Jackson. He should have a high starting overall at the same time. And I think with good contact, good vision, good defense, he'd have a pretty good chance of finding a role with us. And Aaron Jackson's going to be our next pick. So as we wait for our next selection at 80 then, I'm looking at if Molina and Batista stick around. And then if they go, I'm intrigued with the two closing pitchers, Brian Ariano being my favorite. On the clock here, 1 minute to make my decision, and I have Molina here, I have Batista, and I have Brian Ariano still. And I think here I'm going to take my chance on a potential closer for the series. Brian Ariano is going to be our selection, and I want to see how long those discovered players really stay out there. He's 22 years old, has a good starting overall, and a really high ceiling. So we could be looking at one of the best relievers of the series right here. I'm really trying to spend this draft covering as many bases, checking as many boxes as I can. I've taken a starter, a reliever. I've taken a right fielder and a third baseman. As I sim to our next pick, we still have the options to take Molina or Batista. And here I think I'm happy getting the upside of Batista first. I have some outfielders that have that long trajectory, but the ceiling is there. And I like how they're developing. So I'm going to add Batista to the mix. And Ray Molina is still there with our final pick. So is Brooks Matsui. Matsui a little bit lower on the board. Potentially, though, I could end up drafting both. And sure enough, he is still out there, and I doubt there's anything better I could just find on the board somewhere else. So we are going to go heavy on pitcher this year. Brooks Matsui's our pick. Yeah, you can definitely wait on these discovered players for sure. And that's going to conclude our draft this year. That's pretty exciting. I think we got some really fun players. We take 4 pitchers, 2 outfielders, and then an infielder this season. And that's after taking 2 infielders with our first round picks year 1 and year 2. So I think I've done a good job of spreading out the resources and attacking various positions. The next milestone for us will be hitting the All-Star game. And this is our final game before that. Yuri Perez on the mound, and his episode has kind of gone back and forth. Hasn't had an elite stretch. Nice pitch here to Schmidt. So we're not going to see those ratings until next episode, most likely. That's through into center. And the Rockies have first and second. Nice, 12-6, catching the corner against Drew Romo. And Perez gets him to fly weakly, and Carter makes the play. Good pitch to Mac Horvath. A Rule 5 pick of theirs. I knew the name was familiar. Yeah, he was the first overall pick in the Rule 5 draft last offseason. 5 scoreless for Perez. And facing one of their first round picks, Chase Dolander. A pitcher's duel in Colorado. We don't see many of these. And Myers will send one to the deepest part of Coors Field. And he's going to be on his way to third base. And he is in there with a leadoff triple. Wow, he had a perfect game. We just broke up a perfect game bid on a triple. I'm glad I didn't know. I probably wouldn't have hit that triple if I knew that he currently had a perfect game in the works. I don't need that kind of pressure. So now we ruin the perfect game, the no-hitter. Next we're going for the shutout and the win. And that's going to be rolled to short, and we're on the board. Yeah, Cole Carrig doing a lot better on the road compared to at home. I think he's gotten a lot of playing time here. I didn't swap back Ramirez, but I'm okay if Ramirez got some more time on the bench. We'll get him back starting second half of the year. Carrig on the ground. That won't get the job done. Yeah, there we are. 39 and 56, you know, just a game ahead of the Rockies is all. We were riding so high beginning of the episode. I felt like we were going to drop off. I just didn't realize it would be dropping off a cliff. Dario Laverde making his major league debut. Congrats to you, Dario. I've given up some first career hits. Fallen behind the debut man, Laverde. Pitch count's in a great spot, too. Perez is in position to go deep into this game, potentially. This is what a major league fastball looks like, Dario. See you later. They're trying to start a Let's Go Rockies chant here in the 6th inning. 1-2 from Perez. That's ripped. Carter gets to it. They're trying the chant once again, and Edwards is there through 6. Oh, this is such an amazing screen. So you're telling me Craig Johnson is still the #1 candidate for Rookie of the Year? Hank Holder chasing Craig Johnson, perhaps into the All-Star break. Here's first-round pick versus first-round pick.
2-0.
Come on, we got him 2-0 here. No, that's not what I want. Lined. Down and right, and Holder is on. We'll waste no time in sending him, as that's a good throw. He's in, though. 17 stolen bases for Hank Holder. And hopefully he'll be our second run. We'll advance him here with Peterson. And Lopez lines it through. Holder, he froze and now gets the late break and does get there. Had they been at normal depth, they might have a better chance at making the catch. I don't know about that, actually. Lopez just sneaks it by him. That's another RBI and a hit with a man in scoring position. Carter now blasts away to center. Go, Otto. It's gone. No, it's not. He's going 3, though. Lopez will score. It's Evan Carter with an RBI triple. I saw it was 102 off the bat in Coors Field. I apologize for thinking it would just be a home run. Still, that's the best swing I've had thus far playing with Evan Carter. Second triple of the day, too. And we still have Perez going strong, a 3-run cushion. That's a hard line drive into center from Tovar. 79 pitches on the day for Perez. Casey Schmidt. Wow, that's a tough one to get to. Now we'll go curve and right up the middle. And I feel like these are some pretty good pitches overall. Romo now. Holder will make the play, and that is 7 scoreless for Perez. Cole Carrig smashes a base hit into right. Wish he would get under that ball, though. Base hit right field. 2 on now for the Marlins. Back-to-back hits for Carrig and Edwards. Set things up for Hank Holder. One guy attempting to start that Let's Go Rockies chant. No one's joining in. 11 homers on the year, 4 triples. And a dribbler up the middle. One there. Holder beats the throw. Holder goes, and he can slow down as Jock Peterson jacks one all the way into the bullpen. That is way out of here, and we have broken the game open 6-0 on Jock's 16th. Bottom of the 8th inning. Yuri Perez battling with Dario Laverde. He's got his first career hit. There you go. He's got number 1, and I don't know if we're going to see Perez go the distance here. We'll make a move here and put in the fresh arm of Dylan Coleman to try and finish this game off. But base hit Colorado, putting 2 on. That's past the pitcher into center field, and the shutout will now disappear. Should have thrown it to third. I was trying to hit the cutoff there and ended up being center of the diamond. So 6-1, Rockies trying to chip away. Myers, great play. Doubling up Ryan McMahon, we close out the 8th. Evan Carter unloads against a familiar face. Luis Medina was with us in the early days of the A's franchise. And Carter just took him 447 for his 14th homer on the season. And just about wrapped up here in Colorado. We are on to the All-Star break as the Marlins win this game, rallying late, 6 runs over the last few innings. Or actually 7 with the Carter home run. Good end to the first half for Yuri Perez. 40-56 is our record going into the break. We'll get to work on signing our draft picks and preparing for the trade deadline next episode, and we'll see those ratings and take a look at our farm system in total. Johnny Grieve is still going to be over a month away from coming back from the broken leg, hopefully in time for September. Jock Peterson has 16 homers, Evan Carter 14, Jonah Bride and Hank Holder each have 11. Very good hot streak for Jonah Bride here over his last 10. Hank Holder, meanwhile, has just been extremely consistent. Now we're seeing +4 contact against righties and +5 contact against lefties. So it's weird sometimes when the boosts change. Like now, power's not going up at all. Contact against lefties is only up 5 as opposed to going up 8 earlier. Alec Thomas, yeah, he's cooled off a lot. The average fell a lot in this episode. It's more in line now with where he was playing last year in Arizona. Agustin Ramirez, he's a 73, and this is the concern, seeing the hitting decline. If it doesn't get better in the second half, I think we look at sending him down to AAA the way that Connor Norby was. I think we'll try to bring Norby back next episode now that he's had this long stretch at AAA to kind of reset. Come back and see if he can give us a boost the rest of the way. If we trade Jock Peterson, which we likely are, he would then most likely be our new DH. If we do end up sending down Agustin Ramirez, I would then be splitting time between Cole Carrig and Joe Mack. I think Mack is going to be on our Major League roster next year because he's Rule 5 eligible, and I don't want to risk losing him. So if it comes down to it, we'll get a look at him this season, and I love where the ratings are. I think he is like the ideal backup catcher. He can fill in really well defensively, and his bat is further along than Cole Carrig's right now. We're just going to stick with this Carrig experiment because I think the position flexibility, defense, speed combo, he's not going anywhere while he's got this Rule 5 status. But next year, I'd totally be open to potentially sending him down or being one of our primary bench outfielders. In the second half, I think it's going to be time for us to look at a promotion as well. I think it'll be the right time for Noble Meyer to come up and make his debut. He's played well down at AAA all year. And we've already had success with the call-up of Robbie Snelling. We begin today with our offensive numbers at a really surprisingly high position. We're 14th in batting average here at the break. The scoring has fallen, but we're still tied for 8th. We're a top 10 scoring offense. It did seem like the pitching took a step back today for sure. I believe we were 20th at the end of last episode. We're 26th right now. And I can't say that's all that surprising considering we did give up some pitching talent. The Rangers, meanwhile, are still 4 games back of the Mariners, now with a couple of our core players in the first 2 years of the series. Edward Cabrera is now an 84 overall. And over his last 10, he is sporting a pretty high ERA. He's given up 10 homers in 44 innings. That's a lot. 6 over his last 3 starts. Looks like he had a decent stretch, and then just the inconsistency continues to be the issue with him. While Jesus Sanchez has actually been picking things up really well now. Hitting .270, 10 homers at the break, puts him in line to maybe have a career high there this season. Maybe have his first 20 home run year. And he's hitting .444 over his last 10 going into the break. Hopefully it all works out for the Rangers. I think so far it's certainly working out for us. But that is going to do it for today. Big episode again coming up. We'll check out those prospect rankings, and we're going to make some trades as well. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section on what moves you think we should look to make before the deadline this year. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one.